All right, what up, everyone? We're live 30 seconds early because we were waiting on Brian. It's week 17, fantasy finals. We're going to probably keep potting, but, we'll see how it goes. See how many questions we get, how much interaction. But I don't know. How's everyone doing? It's the holidays. It's the day after Christmas. I'm pretty groggy. I'm on my fourth tee. Jason, what's cooking?
Not too much, man. Still kind of great sports day yesterday after a rough Tuesday, but yeah, fully charged and ready to go.
Brian, what's happened?
Yeah,
You lost in the semifinals?
Yep, I had Hurts in both my leagues. I lost in both of them. I was actually waiting on seeing if Kendre Miller would outscore the Packers defense by 3 points. He did not. So I lost.
Right?
But,
yeah,
I mean, just kind of catching up. Obviously, if you watched the Ravens game, I'm sorry, unless you're a Ravens fan, because that was just a terrible game to watch. 31-2 is quite the beating. So hopefully you're not a Texans fan. If so, I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Kendre Miller, I remember you were big on him last Thursday, right? Because volume is king, right? But I had so many people message me about Kendre, but I was like, what can he really do? How many points did he end up with?
Like 4.5 around there. I mean, those are the types of games you just can't do much about. Similar with like the Texans game yesterday. It's like you just at some point they just start kind of playing some backups. I think Jordan Mims ended up getting majority of the second half snaps because like what's the point?
Yeah, but I think the Saints one we could have seen. The Texans, I mean they've been crap for a while, but Jesus, It's not like anyone was benching Nico Collins, right?
Ravens have been hot, and plus I think just with you could just tell even just Saturday with them like how visibly shaken CJ Stroud was once Tank Dell got hurt. And he's clearly fighting through some stuff. And he even said yesterday, he's like, I just did not bring enough energy, for the team to lead. And you can kind of see it with them, and he put that on himself.
Yeah, that was brutal. Did you guys watch both games, start to finish?
I did not. I was about to turn on the Ravens game, and it was like it was already kind of a beating, so I decided against it.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty bad, pretty ugly. Then we got Thursday night tonight. We'll talk that. We'll hit any questions if anyone's jumping in. I guess we just started. So let's talk Hurts. Brian, is he on like the do not draft? Because it seems like he peaked for 15 weeks every year. He's like the best QB in the planet, and then he kind of falls apart.
I mean, if I'm in a league with you, then yes, he's in a do not draft, and then I'll just get him cheap. No, I mean, he is, in my opinion, the most consistent quarterback you can get in fantasy. Is he QB1? No, but I would say almost every week he's between about 16 and 25 points.
Yeah,
and you can count on him unless he gets hurt. Obviously, that's what's going to happen. You can say like Josh Allen. He's been hurt in the past. Lamar Jackson.
I mean, Allen's never been hurt.
No, he's been hurt. Usually doesn't miss games.
Yeah,
but like
that matters.
He was banged up yesterday or last week, and he put up kind of a stinker. So like, if you want to overthink it, by all means, that would be the same thing as the guy who started Caleb Williams over Josh Allen last week. Like,
way to bring that home.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to overthink it, and I hope you do if you're in a league with me.
Hurts. You guys talk for a second. Let's bring up Hurts. I want to Hurts last year because wasn't he terrible? Like when they started like 11-1.
Hurts won me a title last year, so I can't really say he was like fantasy terrible. But yeah, I mean, just in terms of the injury, it's very much is trending for him not to play this weekend. And that Eagles Cowboys game has definitely lost its juice. Speaking of injuries, because you have Hurts likely out, and now you have CeeDee Lamb being shut down for the season too, and that's a real punch in the stomach for a lot of fantasy managers who may have spent a very high draft pick on old CeeDee.
Okay, yeah, never mind, Brian. Yeah, Hurts 23.9, 24, 20, week 15, 16, 17, week 14 dud. But yeah, that's pretty good. I mean,
seems pretty consistent to me.
Yeah. No, Hurts is great. I had him in my super. I paid like $48 for him in an auction. Like he's the best. But it's like in fantasy basketball too. Some guys wither like Embiid, right? You don't want the guy who breaks down at the end of the year. and then it just abandons you every time in the playoffs.
Or just doesn't want to play, doesn't want to play to start the season either.
And maybe he is a guy you draft at the beginning of the year, and by the trade deadline, you try to find every year someone thinks that the next like pocket passer, like CJ Stroud, who we just talked about, he was the guy this year. Everybody drafted, I think he was around five.
5 round. Yeah.
He was terrible. And that happens almost every year with some kind of pocket passer. I think Joe Burrow kind of burned people last year. Now he's killing it. So like every year, maybe Hurts is the guy you draft. You know what you're going to get from the beginning of the year. Whenever you know who's that guy, like you could tell by the trade deadline, CJ Stroud was a guy. You could tell this year Joe Burrow was kind of killing it. So make that trade then if that's something you really want to do. But I still think you might end up regretting it. Like Hurts is a top 3 option in my opinion, dynasty quarterback. Like I just don't. There's not many people I would go over him in fantasy. I don't like that. Tush push is unstoppable. He's almost guaranteed 10 touchdowns a year, like just from that. So it's just pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, I agree.
He is supplanted Mike Tolbert as the Vulture King.
Yes.
Like Jalen Hurts is the king of the 1 yard line now. Like he's the 1 yard line GOAT. And yeah, it's like you said, Brian, 10 basically rushing touchdowns a year. That's 60 free points you could steal.
Yeah, it takes also, you need a lot of the running backs going down to the 1, right? Barkley's done it a lot this year. Was it Swift last year did it? And then who's the bum that went to Carolina that had 12 touchdowns? You guys? Miles Sanders, yeah.
But if it happens every year, is it really like
no?
Is it really that much of a pattern, or do we just notice it more because every time someone goes down at the 1, you're getting that play?
Yep, no, that's true. Might be a good article for the summer, Jason. I want to do like fantasy points, regular season, and then who has the biggest dip in the playoffs, and then also who goes off.
So you're telling me I'm hired for next year? Nice. Oh, that is a fun trend to follow, though. I'm definitely down to check that out and see, because it is very interesting. And kind of going back to that playoff piece, one guy that I remember mentioning might value may take a hit was Joe Mixon, and sure enough, Joe Mixon took a major hit in the playoffs value wise.
Was that schedule based or just old guy?
Just because of how tough the Texans schedule was, in the playoff weeks. Having to deal with the Chiefs, the Ravens. It was never going to be easy for them. And sure enough, yeah, he went from RB1 to or one of the RB1s in the league to basically kind of a flex play.
Yeah, Brian doesn't value fantasy schedule stuff. He just checks out during these talks. I know, Brian, you don't really fantasy schedule. It's not really your thing, but what about like the inverse, right? Like we had with Green Bay playing the Saints, right? Saints terrible rush defense, right? Jacobs going to go off, but he's only playing a half because the Saints are so bad. Like, is there any way you think to like kind of model that or project that?
I don't know if there's any entire projection for that because the year it just changes from year to year. Jacobs still on Monday night, still pretty good fantasy night, like 12 or like 14, 15 points. More RB2 than RB1 numbers, but still pretty good. And now he gets a game against the Vikings this week where surely he's going to be used more. You got to think that game is going to be hotly contested, hotly competitive. There's a lot of stuff at stake for both teams, between being able to take over second place in the North and maybe get a little bit better of a seed and getting to travel, against the NFC South versus, maybe the Eagles.
Yeah, I would say in projections, there is a way, and I normally go if it's double-digit point total or point spread. I'm going to give some of the backup running backs a bit more rush share than I normally would, just because
that's cool.
Like, if that's the case, running backs are normally like they're the ones who get not beat, but like they're the ones who take a beating more than anyone else does. So when in doubt, you've seen it with the Eagles, you've seen it obviously in this game. Unless they're like really attempting to get some record, which like yesterday it seemed like the Ravens, they also had Justice Hill out, so maybe they just didn't have as many chances to take Henry out, but he was until the end of the game, I think he was still kind of playing a good amount. So this time of year, I think it's pretty interesting also to just look at, like, I think the fantasy footballers brought this up, and I have a few other things that I listen to bring it up, where if people have contract situations where it's like, if I get over X amount, and especially if it's doable, as long as like QB and everyone just has to be on the same page, like that tends to happen. You tend to try to get your guys paid. So I do think that's something also to look into when the season comes to an end, is like, who's chasing a record, who's trying to get paid a bit more, and you can slightly up their usage. But again, a lot of it's based on point totals in Vegas, and that's not adjusted too much. The only thing I can really adjust for is usage.
Okay.
That's teams who are trying to protect themselves against salary caps from, like, injury guarantees and all that. Granted, this isn't the most relevant fantasy team. Actually, it's a pretty giant dumpster of a fantasy team, but it is relevant to this, is the Giants. Because they had Daniel Jones dealing with the injury guarantees, so they didn't want to play him anymore, and they benched him so they wouldn't have to pay him $23 million. And then Drew Lock had a bunch of incentives that he could have reached, and they kept trying not to play him until they were forced to once DeVito got hurt.
But then Drew Lock ended up not being any good.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Okay, we got some questions. We'll let them build up for a bit. But so remember, anyone on Twitter, jump over to YouTube, drop us a like, drop us a question. We're also on Blue Sky, Discord, and all sorts of other stuff, right? People have been commenting on Twitter, so I always get to those. But I don't know. We got week 17, it's the finals. Anyone still alive? Anyone in a fantasy finals? Just me?
I mean, I have third place is points or third place is get your money back in a few of my leagues, so I'm fighting for third.
Something?
Yep.
Okay.
My big league's only first and second.
So yeah, was it a tough season? Was it just me, or I mean, it just seems like it's getting flukier and flukier, even though I know we're the experts.
I had to grind. I had to really, really grind. It was, I think, at least in my big money league, $250 buy-in.
Ooh.
Yeah, on paper, good team, but, injuries and the Jets, it's a whole other story. Like AJ Brown going down week 2 definitely hurt. Like I started out the year 3-0. And then, kind of got a dose of reality once teams were starting to put up big numbers against me, and then got hot at the end. Had a couple of huge weeks just to get into the playoffs and through round 1, and then, had to deal with the 1 seed in week 2 or in the semifinals, and best team. He had the best team. Even he lost David Montgomery and Isaac Orendo and still had a team that could put up like 140.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was normal. Like realistically, you're not whether you're a pro or not, you're not going to win, especially I think in fantasy football every year. Maybe in certain leagues if you play enough, but like in some of my big leagues, it's very telling who makes the playoffs. And like it's a joke, but we have like a winners group message. It's the same like 4 or 5 people every year that win. And like we just confirmed, obviously last week no one would change. Like that group message would not expand. We have like 4 text messages every year, and it's just, look, we didn't add anybody, that type of thing. So I do think it's telling that, like, I think the skill can get you to the playoffs. And then once the playoffs hit, it's just, have you done a good job of trying to diversify some risk, and you hope it all hits for you. Like at the end of the day, that is kind of what it comes down to. And you just hope that it kind of goes in your favor.
Well, what's the best way to diversify risk, right? Because I know all the things I like, you don't care about. Like, I'm cold weather, fantasy playoff schedules, stuff like that. And you're just going just pure math. If you're great in the first, not like basic like that, but it's just like you're going to trust the numbers they put up rather than a small sample where, it could just be a roll of dice.
I mean, I think it's also like, don't overthink it. So like,
exactly.
Like you probably take into account less of the math and like usage stuff that I do. So whatever work, like there's a bunch of different ways to win. It's just kind of figure out what works for you and try to get better at that. Just like I'm really starting to think more about my QB stuff, like especially in competitive leagues. Majority of my competitive leagues, playoffs included Hurts, Allen, and Lamar.
Yeah.
And Burrow. Burrow took everyone there too. So it's like, Burrow's the one who changes every year. Hurts, Allen, Lamar are almost always top 5 options.
Yeah.
So it's like, am I going to rethink that come draft time? I don't know. Like, that's stuff I want to look into now and just kind of trying to see those patterns of what wins and what doesn't each year.
So would you value like this stat from last year where like CMC was on like 48% of winning teams? Would you think that'd be cool to see breakdown for positions? Like, who's or Jaden Daniels, is he going to be on a lot of teams because people got him late and he was really good?
I mean, I think Burrow's on a lot of teams because he was drafted later. And I think if you like a bunch of people did the Burrow Chase stack,
Yeah,
that's pretty much like if you have that stack and you didn't make it to the finals or semifinals, like I'd be pretty surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if like 40% of the teams, which is a high number, given all leagues, 40% of the teams that have that stack are probably did pretty well in the playoffs. So I just think it's looking at what works in the past. We thought like second wide receivers were going to break out. They really haven't. They're safe. Like Higgins, Smith, Waddle. I mean, Waddle wasn't safe, but like Higgins, Smith, and Waddle were the 3 guys we were thinking about.
JSN.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, great year.
So it's like, are those guys to me don't have as much upside. And it's like nowadays what wins is upside.
So the backup running backs seems like they're back in style.
This is the move. It seems like.
Yeah, which can probably take us to our first question of.
Okay.
Hey.
Well
Portland
done,
Sutton versus Sharps.
There, Brian.
Tristan NHL. Okay, Brian, your pod. Take it away.
I'm all in on Sharps. I think he's a probably top 15 running back play with Walker out and Sutton and that offense. I don't know how much I trust it, but I just know Sharps has been doing well with all the volume he's gotten while he's played. So I'm all in on Sharps in that.
Charbonnet as a running back won this season when Walker's been out, averages 17 points a game in fantasy. So there's that. And the Bears defense has been getting absolutely shredded on the ground recently. So yeah, I too am all in on Sharps.
I think it wouldn't matter PPR because like Sutton has had 2 bad weeks in a row, but he was like 70 straight for 6, and now they're playing Cincy. So it's like I'll pseudo guarantee Sutton's going 6 for 70, right? So Sharps, like, who's ceiling? I mean, we saw what Sharps did a few weeks ago, right? We went 140, 2 touchdowns. It's like his only good week, knocked me out of the playoffs. So maybe I'm just angry biased.
But wouldn't you say like
comes out?
If you're expecting 6 for 70, Sharps probably can get around 70 yards passing or rushing and receiving. Then, in my opinion, Sharps just has a better touchdown chances. So that's more of where I love Sharps is just they give him the ball at the end zone. And he was banged up last week. So if you're afraid of Kenny McIntosh, who had a bit more volume last week, I just think Sharps was a bit more banged up. Now he has another week to recover. They kind of took it easy on him last week. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. If you are, I think he's a full go and big play.
Yep, I agree. I think the Seattle O-line's trash. What do they average? Like 91 rushing yards, and bad O-lines don't travel. But Chicago's been so bad against the rush and the pass. It's like it is a nice smash spot.
They've been a bottom 3 fantasy defense recently against the run too. So that's a pretty good feasting opportunity. What's the saying? Tutties win titles. I think I actually just made that up, but. It's
a t-shirt.
Yeah, that should be our first SportsEthos t-shirt, by the way. I think Charbonnet is definitely the better play here.
Okay, what if it was JSN or Sharps, Brian? What do we do? Would you? Or still full Sharps?
I mean, I'm probably full Sharps. Just touched him there.
Pour me the glass. The glass of Charbonnet, baby.
All right, Jason. Jason's fired today. All right, Matt Carmody is full PPR. Need a flex and a tight end. Darnell Mooney, Jaden Reed, Okongwu, who's breaking out apparently. Tucker Kraft, Kincaid. Okay, so let's start with the flat. We're probably not starting 2 tight ends, right, Jason?
Yeah, it's a very rare occasion here. I don't. This is a tough one, but. For me, I'm going Reed, and I'm going. You don't want to put too much stock into one offense here. So it's just been tough. I'm gonna go Kincaid. I think he has a bounce back week. He's due for one good freaking week, and I know a lot of people drafted him high, and he hasn't really lived up to that fantasy value. I just think he's due for one.
I don't know if you could bench Chig. Brian, where you at? Did you watch Atlanta this last week?
I know Darnell Mooney was pretty heavily involved, and I tend to lean. I'm actually probably leaning Kincaid too. Oh. I hate the Tennessee offense. I've been doing their
brilliance every week. I know.
Yeah, and they're just so bad. Like Chig got a bunch of targets, sure, and like I definitely upped his target share a good amount just because Rudolph obviously loves throwing him the ball. But Kincaid last week was 25% target share. So I'd much rather 25% on the Bills than 25% on the Titans. So that's kind of the main thing for me. I hate that Tennessee offense. And I don't think they're good. They definitely seem to be trying to get a quarterback. So I just don't see much scoring there. And then when it comes to Reed and Mooney, I think I like Mooney. They seem to be airing it out a good amount or slightly more effectively. I think the point total can maybe scare people just because a lot of those touchdowns were also defensive touchdowns. But I just think Penix showed that he liked throwing it to Mooney in London and his receivers over running backs and tight ends. So I just think that's something to keep up. Plus Pitts just handed the other defense they played last week an interception. So I guess his Penix isn't the biggest fan of Pitts at the moment, so
But he was last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, London ended up leaving the game, and also
right.
These were like his first reps really with the first team offense all season. So that's my hesitation with Mooney at this point is Penix showed he could play. I don't know who he likes. I don't know who he's going to be going to, and the game script is not going to be as what it was last week. It's a little bit. You ain't playing the Giants this week, bud. So,
aren't they? But they're playing Washington.
Playing Washington, it's going to be a hell of a game. We don't know where the game script's going to be a lot more unpredictable. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. And then what about weather, Brian? Because it's in Buffalo. I mean, we're talking Buffalo late December. I haven't looked at the report yet, but that could. If it was snowing, does that get you off Kincaid?
They're football players. They know how to play in weather.
Okay. So wait, what do we settle on here? So Mooney and Kincaid, that's what you guys like?
Yeah. Just looking here at the weather report for Buffalo on Sunday, it looks like it's supposed to be raining, but temperatures are supposed to be in the 50s, so should not be any threats.
Nice.
Raining is nice. Cold rain is nice. It's the worst weather imaginable.
The 50s in December in Buffalo?
Means. I don't know what 50s means. So
that's like a heat wave for them.
Okay. All right. Wayne T. All right. Hey guys, just lost CD. That sucks. Anyone who watched last week saw he was gutting it. He was not going to finish the season. Do I bother starting Marvin Harrison? Probably not. He's been on my bench for weeks or play Brandon Cooks, PPR. Okay. I mean, Brian, what do we do? Model here. So what did Lamb have? Like a 30% target share? Now that's fully up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have Lamb out in the model because he was just announced like an hour ago, but I would. I mean, I think it's a floor upside thing. Harrison, he hasn't shown the upside in the past probably weeks you've had him on the bench, but I do think he has a higher upside. Cooks, especially in PPR, I think he'll get a 30% target share. He might be like a 8 catches for 50 yards, but that's 13 points type thing. Like, I think they might just feed him and it's ugly, but it is what it is. There will be volume and he'll get some points.
So what about matchup, right? We got Cardinals are playing Rams. That's nice, right? And then we got Cooks versus Philly. Do we really want to old, against a pissed off Philly team?
I mean, it's not like Philly's they don't really tend to shadow much. So I think it's just.
But who's he going to get open with? Quinion Mitchell? No. Cooper DeJean? No. Is Slay? Wait, Slay, is he even playing?
I don't remember. I think he's coming. He's at least coming back soon, if not this week.
Jason, vibes? What do the vibes say?
I mean, Brandon Cooks is a 10-year veteran. You're telling me he can't get open against a couple rookies that are in their 16th game?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. Adam Thielen roasted the rookies.
Oh,
Eagles have been getting up a little bit in recent weeks. So I actually really do like Brandon Cooks here. Vibes are telling me, the vibes are giving me Brandon Cooks.
Okay. What did? Okay.
He's played well enough recently. Really ever since the first Philly game. He's played well enough for them to at least have a puncher's chance most nights or most weeks. So I actually don't think Cooks is a bad play here. And it's like Brian said, even when you blend the vibes in with the model here with the target share, that 30% target share has to go somewhere, and Cooks is the clear number 2 option as a wide out. So even if he gets half of that, that's it bodes well for him.
It's like 12%. Brian, what is that? Would you go Cooks as a wide receiver 1, or maybe like Tolbert? They use Turpin. Maybe goes to Ferguson.
I mean, Turpin's a fun, like deep play, just because they kind of manufacture him plays. He's like the diet Debo type player, where it's just like he gets the end arounds. He'll sometimes like line him up. He'll get the screens just because he's a return man. He's the old version of Devin Hester type player. Like that's almost like his player. I can't think of the word for it. Like player type. But I still think Cooks is the one you lean on. Tolbert, I've tried going down that route. I've picked him up in a few leagues for like 2 weeks, and it's just ugly. It's like 7 points. You put him on your bench in deep leagues, and then he scores a touchdown, and you're annoyed. Like
he scored that game-winning one. Was that Pittsburgh early in the season? Yeah, but Tolbert seems like he's got all the talent. But so, what's the philosophy here for the finals? So, like Cooks, you at least know. I mean, Harrison, he's getting targets too, though, right? Like, who's more likely to give you a goose egg? I'd say Cooks.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that should factor in, though. Anyway, so what are we? So you guys are both saying Cooks over Harrison, though?
Yeah, and like I also think Harrison's on the team moving forward. Cooks he's a veteran. Like he still needs to prove himself. Both teams are out of the playoffs. I think Cooks is the player who needs to perform more for money purposes. Yeah. Harrison's still like God's gift to football type thing. Like he's still a great player. I think Cooks can prove, hey, I still am a valuable wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 role moving forward, so he can keep continuing to get paid in his 30s.
Okay, I'm strong because also I hate Kyler. I think Kyler's just the worst. So don't bank on Kyler in your finals.
I got an army of Cardinal fans who are triggered now.
If there's armies of anything watching the show, I'll take the win. All right, Kalzi says, long question. Did I miss a chapter? Okay, it's not that long. I need to start 3. St. Brown, we're starting him. McLaurin. Oh, Jesus. So 6-man team? Like, what is? I mean, is this tougher, Brian? When it's like when you have so many studs, like, what do? You have to start St. Brown, right?
I mean, it's tougher than your start-sit decisions, yeah. I think there's just honestly more luck, like if anything. But I can see what the model says.
All right, you check model, Jason. Cortland Sutton, can we rule him out? He's just not in the tier, right?
Yeah, he's not in the tier of a lot of these guys. For me, it's obviously Amon-Ra. It's obviously Mike Evans, and because Bucks are playing for something, and they got Carolina, which is still a favorable matchup. And last guy I'm starting here, you got to go Tyreek. He's playing a little bit better.
Tyreek, yeah. Waddle plays or not? Does that matter?
A little bit, but not entirely.
He'll just go to Jonnu and A-Chain like it always does.
Yeah, man. A-Chain got me that touchdown, that 50-yarder to hit my touchdown parlay. So I would love him forever for that.
My model has Terry McLaurin very high this week.
Scary Terry.
Like wide receiver 4. So it has Terry, Mike, and Amon-Ra.
Okay, so what are we saying? We're starting Amon-Ra and Terry, and then Mike Evans.
Yeah. You know me, I'm never turning on Mike Evans.
So bench Tyreek. Like, what do you factor into this time of the year? Because it's a one-off, so it's small sample size is king. But talent. You go, what are they playing for? Would you rather have somebody fighting for the playoffs, or just matchup?
I mean, matchup over/under is a big thing for me, obviously, and I think the Dolphins over/under is pretty low. I think they're expected to. Who are they playing? Oh, they're playing Cleveland. The over-under's in the 30s.
But that's because
Oh yeah,
Cleveland can't move the ball.
that's even tougher.
Yeah, but like it's still a 6.5 points, at least last when I checked. So it's like they're projected to get 23. Cleveland's projected to get 16.5. Like I just think
in the mid 50s in Cleveland on Saturday for that game.
Yeah,
that's warm for Cleveland, and that's way above the Dolphins' temperature threshold.
Good point. Okay, let's move on here. So we said Amon-Ra, McLaurin, or you got to start, and then Mike Evans or Tyreek, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Amon-Ra, Evans, and Tyreek. You guys, you have Amon-Ra, McLaurin, and then either Evans or Tyreek.
Brian's got Terry as wide receiver 4, and he's finally come around. He spent a whole season saying he's fluky, and now it's like the tush push, right? Maybe it's just fluke is part of his game.
Yeah, probably because I got burned by him in the Eagles game, but we'll see.
All right, Tristan, NHL. Do you think I go AJ Brown or JSN? This is tough. Jason, what are we doing? So let's say no Hurts, right?
No Hurts and maybe no Kenny Pickett.
No Kenny Pickett?
He's banged up right now too. The Eagles signed Ian Book today, so they have 3 available quarterbacks. So there may not be any Kenny Pickett right now either. And it's tough with the Thursday night game. I got to go JSN here just because I don't know what's on that other side. I don't know what's behind door number 2 with the Eagles right now.
Yeah, the door number 1's already a Porsche.
Door number 1's easy. It's JSN.
Yeah.
Door number 2, there's all it's like the mystery bag. Or whatever's behind it. You don't know if you're getting a Ferrari or you're getting a lump of coal.
Or it's just a picture of the Ferrari you paid for. Brian,
what do you mean?
I mean, JSN I think is safer. I would definitely say that. The one devil's advocate for AJ Brown, like the only way they moved the ball after Hurts went out was just let me throw the ball in AJ's direction, and there's a pass interference. I think Marcus Lattimore, I think he just left the game because he was embarrassed by like 5 straight pass interference calls.
It wasn't like
maybe he hurt his hammy
for like 60-something yards or something like that total.
It was a good amount of pass interference yards for AJ Brown in that game. So obviously the backup QB knew where his bread was buttered, and you just chuck it in the direction. So I would say Brown's your upside, JSN's your safety.
Is that something you've been able to notice this year? Backup QBs come in, does the target share go up for the studs? Because they're probably not making multiple reads, right? First read share, throw it to your stud. If you got, AJ Brown, Jamar Chase, especially with CD Lamb, right?
I think it depends on the guy. Some people love to go after sometimes you see like the wide receiver 3 get better just because like that's like their number 1 wide receiver in the second team offense that they throw to. So I just think it kind of depends.
Cedric Tillman's a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Jameis doesn't. No, there's no rhyme or reason to Jameis.
He's just gonna do what he's gonna do. It is what it is. But I have speaking of all the fantasy pass interferences though, I do have one hot take for fantasy that I'm very curious that your guys' thoughts on. If a wide receiver draws a pass interference call, you should get like half the points for the yardage, like drawn. Like if you get a 43-yard, your receiver draws a 43-yard PI call, you should get 2 point whatever points for it.
Sure. I like it. I hate it's the motion, the pre-snap penalties. I don't understand why they're calling those so much. It seems like it's so many big plays on the, just not set or right the motion. It's such a stupid penalty. But Matt Carmody says he made 1 out of 6 teams. I mean, that's one's fine. Hopefully you weren't in 5 semifinals because that would suck. But all right, do I start James Conner if he plays? Other options, Dowdle. Okay. Well, Jason, I think Connor practice looks like he's going to play.
Yeah, Connor's looking like he's going to go. You start him. He's been that good. He was on his way to an absolute insane day on Sunday. He had 20-something points at halftime, and then ended up leaving the game with the injury in the third quarter. But yeah, you're playing Connor.
Right, Dallas versus Philly. I mean,
yeah, Dowdle. Eagles have been pretty good against other running backs, and Dowdle's not like an absolute stud. So Connor kind of carried my team in our league just because he was killing it in the playoffs and kind of going up to the playoffs. So I would.
Yeah, Rams are terrible against the run too. So
thinking he went out last Sunday, it changed my entire fantasy matchup. Like, changed the whole vibe and the whole momentum of everything. I was doing so well, had a lead, and then all of a sudden he goes down, and everything changed from there.
The worst. All right, Slippin' Jimmy, lost CD. It seems like it's going around. Do I play Jennings or Debo? Well, I mean, Jason, Brian's the biggest Juwan Jennings fan in the world, but he hasn't really been playing well, right?
That's false. I'm the biggest Juwan Jennings fan in the world.
Brian took your corner.
Back off, Jade. He's mine. No, I'm just kidding. No, I gotta go Debo here. Debo,
Wow.
He had a nice bounce back last week. Against Miami, played a little bit better. He's still got a lot to play for in terms of if he'll be on the team next year or whatnot. Yeah, I gotta go Debo here. But both could have big games because the Lions defense is so banged up.
I mean, yeah, this was the first season in a while, or first game in a while, that Debo's out targeted Juwan on the season. Juwan's their leading target getter, and Debo's running numbers were up a good bit more just because Patrick Taylor was their running back, and I think they realized maybe we can't repeat what we've done with the fifth wide receiver on their depth chart or fifth running back on their depth chart. So I still have Juwan getting more of a target share than him. I still think Juwan's the better option. I think Debo had a bounce back, but I don't think that's staying. I'm betting on Juwan in this.
Well, Niners have nothing to play for, right?
No, but they do have. But Debo's got some value to play for. That's for darn sure. And Juwan Jennings is the one guy who's paid, and it goes back to kind of what we were talking about earlier. With those type of things involved, I kind of like Debo here.
Oh, I was thinking the opposite because Debo's older. What's the point of him putting extra miles on him? But because he's a free agent, he's playing the contract.
Moving on from him, yeah.
Okay, that's tough.
A lot of talk in the town about that.
And then so we got the Lions, right? Their defense sucks. So I don't know. What are you guys split? Are you both Debo or?
I'm Debo here. Yeah, but
I'm Jennings.
I mean, Jason, if you're telling me Debo's going to play, yeah, I like Debo because he's getting the rushes, right? The Lions, I mean, big play, right? If you just get past that first level, he's going to go.
The only thing is Brendo is going to be back this week too.
Oh,
so
right.
He's not going to be running back, but it should definitely help. Ease a little bit of pressure off of him.
What did Jennings do last week?
Not much.
Ooh, this is tough. I don't know. I can't help you out here. With Grendo back, that makes me like Debo.
You're the third guy here.
Well, if Grendo's back, I don't love Debo because I liked him because dual threat for the Lions. I mean, Debo woke up though. I'm Debo, I guess. One game sample versus the rest of the season. He said he's also starting Ridley. We helped him out. All right. Coulter, the Lions fan. Okay. Good afternoon, guys. I need a defense. Okay. Seahawks or Raiders. Brian, I mean, Seattle defense on the road. Do we like that?
I mean, Raiders are just it's such an ugly thing, but they're also playing the Saints, who is even uglier. Raiders are favored in the game, which is wild to me. But, I mean, the Saints are playing Rattler and Kendre Miller.
Kamara might play.
He didn't practice again today, so I would say it's not looking great.
I agree.
Yeah, I personally don't see why he would play unless there's contract stuff that I don't see. But
didn't he?
What?
Yeah, bonuses.
Yeah, he did get an extension. So, I mean, I lean Raiders, as ugly as that seems. And then for the PPR, I've leaned DJ Moore. I just think
he's been killing it.
He's been doing better, and Caleb's getting better.
Jason, you're the big DK guy, right?
I'm going the same here with Brian. Yeah, I like the Raiders matchup against the Saints, and they've been using DJ Moore a lot recently in a number of different ways. Even just in the short passing game. So PPR, I mean, you're getting 3 points just from little funnel screens from the extension of the run game. So you have that, and Seahawks defense has been a little bit cold recently.
Has it?
Yeah, I've had a couple tough weeks. Granted, against the Packers and the Vikings, which are never great. So yeah, I with Brian here.
Okay, yeah, but I think I saw something. DK is getting healthier, but I mean, what's the target share in Seattle right now, Brian?
I can pull it up. On the season, it's 24-19. Last week it was 28-19 for Walker and 16. So JSN's still kind of the guy. He's almost taken over that lead role, and then DK's taken over that Lockett second receiver role. I see that changing once DK's healthy next season, but for the time being, I would just think DJ Moore is safer.
Okay. I'm not going to pronounce that. Would you consider Brian Thomas? Yes. I don't even care what the follow-up is, right? Unless it's Jamar Chase. So Brian Thomas over A.J. Brown if Hurts sits. Also flex one, Debo, Devontae, Jaden Reed, or DeAndre Swift, I assume. Heavy underdogs who need upside. All right, we love that. I mean, even if Hurts was playing, we could think about Brian Thomas Jr. over A.J. Brown, right?
I'm going Brian Thomas Jr. and moving A.J. Brown to the flex.
I think it's I would assume it's different league. But if not, then yeah, I'm playing those two. If it is different league, I actually do think Brian Thomas Jr. is just safer.
All he does is do 100 yards and touchdown every week and have a 50-yard catch. He's crazy.
Yeah, I think Debo is your guy, especially if it's PPR. You'll just get some more manufactured touches with Debo. Swift, it's like a coin flip between Debo and Swift if it's half point, but if you need the upside, Debo could go crazy, but I think they're all kind of safer when it comes to upside. I guess Debo has the biggest upside out of all of them.
So just benching full Philly bench, eh? Jason, you agree? I mean, seems pretty.
Yeah, I don't disagree here, but again, like the first option I said is an option. I'm going Brian Thomas Jr. and AJ Brown. I don't know how you're not doing that.
Even what if Pickett's out too?
Who would be Ian Book? I mean, again, you're probably looking for AJ Brown or the check down.
It'd be Tanner McKee if Book is. I think Book is just like if you need a third quarterback as like their emergency third quarterback, if Pickett or Hurts can't go. Like you just need a third guy that can go. So I think that's more the Book signing. I don't think Book's starting over McGee.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter though. They both suck, right?
McKee's it's like from Eagles fans' standpoint, it's funny because McKee was like a fourth rounder, but he has like all the arm talent in the world. Kenny Pickett was a first rounder, and he's like looks like a moxie fourth round quarterback when it comes to like arm talent. So it's Eagles fans want McGee to start either way over Pickett, but that's just because we always like the backup quarterback, aka Nick Foles. But
okay, so a little promise because I was thinking like there's nothing worse than that QB starts you don't know, and then he finishes like 14, 22 for 85 yards, right?
Yeah, he's more of a gunslinger. He'll just let it rip.
He completes 6 of them for 40 yards to AJ Brown. It's 10 points right there.
Well, yeah, if he's a gunslinger, that's different. Gunslinger, AJ Brown, that's right up my alley. Yeah. So okay, Brian's giving you the real scoop. So but we're still Brian Thomas Jr. over AJ Brown essentially no matter what, right? But assuming Hurts is out, like we don't care. Pickett, Book, McGee.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Joshua Mogard, lost TD, man, going around. One wide receiver, one flex. All right, neighbors, Jerome Ford, Debo, Keenan Allen. Okay, Jason, we need one and one. What are we doing?
Wide receiver. I guess I can't really just say neighbors yet because he is a game time decision on Sunday now. Didn't practice today. So I'm going Keenan Allen and I'm going Jerome Ford.
Okay. Brian, yeah, Keenan Allen's been great, right? He's resurrected himself. He's been insane. So
I'm probably neighbors if he plays. I think I like neighbors Debo.
So what neighbors? Who are the Giants playing?
They are the Colts.
Okay, that's why, right? Because like watching Drew Lock overthrow neighbors and underthrow them, and it's really embarrassing. But he's getting all the targets. But
yeah, 30% is 30%.
Okay, so 30% is 30%. Okay.
The ceiling is the roof.
Yeah, there we go. Go Tigers.
But like Keenan Allen has been so good. We don't want to maybe flex him too?
I just don't like even from the beginning of the season, I've made it clear I don't like that Chicago situation just because DJ Moore's good, Rum's good, Keenan's good, and
Colt
Caleb can't have all three of them be good. So it's just more not trusting Caleb.
Okay.
Brock Purdy's trying to get paid, trying to be a $60 million guy.
And then that Lions game could be high scoring too, right?
Yeah.
Niners at home. That could be fun. Okay. What about Alice? Quick, do you like having like the last game? Like, it's like you got Debo, you're down 12 points, he's got nobody. Is that like the spot you like, even though it doesn't really matter?
If I want to sweat it out, I want to sweat it out on my terms, not the other teams.
Okay. I like that. Okay, Mr. Magic, pick 2. Keenan, Kupp, Garendo, Kamara. Kamara wants to play for the incentives, right? Like Brian was saying, but I don't think it'll be this week. All right, let's say Kamara's out, Brian. We got to pick 2. I mean, are you benching your boy Kupp?
No. I'm probably going Kupp and Garendo.
Wow. We got the hate for Keenan. Oh, my God. Jason, you talk while I pull up Keenan's game log.
Yeah. So for me, I'm with Brian here. I got to go Kupp and Garendo. I mean, the Rams are playing for the division, most likely. So at this point, that's where I'm kind of at. However, if Seattle loses tonight, I think the Rams win the division. So I guess, and even still, you got to play Kupp then, no matter what, because that Keenan play tonight. So yeah, okay, that calls that. So yeah, Kupp Garendo for me.
All right, this is Keenan's fantasy finishes, wide receiver. Last week, wide receiver 2. Before that, 14, 55, 3, 6. Like, has Kupp gotten anywhere near there all season? He might have one top 10 finish, other than maybe the week 1 when he got 22 targets. I mean, like, let's just live in the now.
I hear you, and I don't.
Okay. Brian's gone to vibes. He's gone to the dark side. All right. Colts D versus Giants or Philly D. Well, I just published Brandon's D rankings. He has the Colts as the number 1 defense this week. Would you have bet your life week 5 that was even possible?
No.
Not the slightest, but I'm going with the Colts. I mean, how can you not?
Well, Brian, Philly, what are we doing?
That's pretty close to me. I mean, I started Atlanta last week, and that was fun just because they kept me in a few matchups against the Giants. But, I mean, Philly D is better, and I can see the Eagles kind of going all out for this win, and then they just rest everybody week 18 just because if they win, they need to win one more game, and then they're pretty much guaranteed the 2 seed. So I trust the Philly a bit more.
And then also, if there's like backup QB, defense knows it's got to carry. Maybe they're hunting.
And Anthony Richardson could throw a pick in he could throw a pick in their own. Why can't I talk? Pick in their own red zone, and then it's just kind of short field for them. So,
well, that might not be possible because he actually might not be playing Sunday either.
Oh my God,
Richardson, really?
Yeah, he's also a game time decision.
Okay, well, but it's Colts D though, right? So why does Richardson? Oh, because they get short field, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco can do the same.
I still think the Giants' offense is so ridiculously incompetent, and plus, the Giants' offense will probably give the Colts a couple opportunities for touchdowns too.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Without Lamb, that Dallas offense doesn't scare me.
Philly's a safer play, I would say, but I would say the upside is definitely Indy.
I would probably agree with that. If you need a 20-point week from your defense, it's probably going to be.
Okay, and then also, so we got Ty J. Spears over Dobbins. Pollard is out. Feels like Dobbins would be on a snap count. I mean, do not trust J.K. Dobbins after the first game off the IR, right? Like, what are you doing?
Nope.
Yep. Especially against Jacksonville's run defense. Like, it's not good.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my. So Spears, where's Spears? So is Pollard hurt? I've been living in the now, not for Sunday.
He's been playing, but he hasn't been practicing. And Spears last week had a higher rush share and target share. Actually, target share was similar, but he did have a higher rush share.
But so let's say Pollard's out. How high is Spears for you? Is he a top 10 running back?
No, because their offense is projected under 20 points, but
Okay.
he's a solid RB2 in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we got a few minutes. Man, I'm so bad at this. We got a bunch of questions. All right. Caleb or Gino tonight? There you go, Matt. Where have you been? This is all I want to talk about. What are we doing? We got two pretty good quarterbacks, two bad O lines, no running games, lots of weapons. Brian, who are you? Who? Well, no, Jason vibes. Just vibes? Who'd you start tonight?
Caleb at home.
Caleb at home. I like that. Okay. Brian?
I'd like Caleb's upside more.
Good with the rushing?
Yeah, he's been rushing it more. He has better weapons. I have him higher. Slightly.
Better weapons?
He has more. I wouldn't say better.
Okay, more isn't better.
He's got DJ Moore too. I just like him more. I think Stafford he needs to have 4 touchdowns to be good.
Gino?
Not Gino. Gino. Yes, I still think he's higher. Oh, Gino, I have way lower. Yeah, I'm Caleb.
Hey, Brian. All right, can we make you a smaller screen? All right, you're Caleb. Yeah, I probably like Caleb. I mean, what's the Gino? I mean, defensive wise, right? Seahawks are better. So, like, that would, Seahawks defense better than Chicago's. Like, you got to like the matchup for Gino better. But Caleb at home has been quite, dependable. It's tough, though. Is it tough for you guys, or is it easy, Caleb?
Easy, Caleb.
Yeah, it's pretty not too hard for me.
Easy, Caleb. Okay, can't go wrong with that.
This is why I was confused.
Okay. You're ahead of the game. No. Okay. Well, Bryce Young or Matt Stafford?
This one's Stafford.
Okay.
See, I have Bryce Young slightly below Gino, and I have Stafford slightly below Caleb.
Stafford below Caleb. Okay. Bryce has been what? He's been okay. I've been watching Carolina.
He's been up lately for sure. Like, other than the Cowboy game where he took a little bit of a step back, they took another step forward last week. I'm with Brian here though, and I like Stafford. The Cardinals defense is starting to show signs of slowing down a bit. They had that one good stretch of play where they were right in that playoff mix, got eliminated. Rams are going for the division. Stafford's due for a good game. This is the time of year where the greats and the Hall of Famers really separate. So I think Stafford has a good one.
Okay, because Tyler says he's afraid because the Rams run a lot, right? Yeah, look at last week, the Jets game, right? You think, high-scoring game, and then it's Kyren Williams, 25 carries. They have no problem just running him into the ground, especially if it's working. So I agree. I mean, he's got to get to 250, 2 touchdowns, right? That's kind of the QB floor.
Yeah.
Is that a lock? No, but Bryce has been running, right? Let's do, Jason, can you pull up Bryce Young for his QB rankings the last 4 weeks? I think he ran for a touchdown last week, right? He's got Thielen, Leggett. They would have beat Philly if Leggett had caught the ball. So,
Speaking of absolute gems, Xavier Leggett is an absolute gem.
Brian, was this easy for you though, Bryce or Stafford? Because this is a big one.
Yeah, it's going to sound mean, but it's like, it's just, Bryce Young no longer is the worst quarterback. Great. Like, before we expected him to be the worst quarterback, now he's like below average and everyone's loving it. Like, okay, it's improvement, but he's still below average.
Okay. What about matchup? Like, they're playing Tampa. Tampa's going to put up 35, so at least game script's in his favor. But it's like, if you do want to put Puka might have 182 touchdowns. He could carry Stafford by himself.
So Bryce is at the QB number 27 on the year. And
I don't care about the year. I want the last 5 games.
I'm saying, so last 5 games, it's been 16.5, 23.6, then a couple, back-to-back duds at 12.5 and 11.96, and then last week, 27.1. But he has a good matchup against Tampa's defense.
It's tough, man, because, Stafford's great, but I watched the Rams. I always bet Puka. It's like, man, they run it first, second down all the time.
He had over 20 points against Tampa the last time, but Tampa's desperate now. Like, Tampa has to come with their best game.
Yeah, which is good for Bryce.
I would say that's not good for Bryce.
No, because Tampa's best game is on offense, right?
What I'm saying is Tampa's defense has to come with their best punch, or they're going to be going home.
All they got is Vita. You guys watch that Dallas game? I think they ran a screen to Ferguson on like 3rd and 8. Vita Vea came from the middle and destroyed him.
Vita Vea is an absolute freak. I mean, that dude is so awesome. That's another guy I've been watching for such a long time, and just man, he's so good.
Okay, all right. So he said he made 4 semifinals with 3 buys. Oh, that's almost worse. Only one. Oh, at least you're in it. Hopefully, it's a big money league. But yeah, nothing's worse than you get the buy, so you don't even get to enjoy it, but you don't have any fun, and then you lose. It's just.
I think it's hilarious. I think buys should be abolished in fantasy football.
I don't like the buy either. So he's taking different leagues. The AJ Brown question. Okay, so you can't flex AJ. So, but
yeah,
whatever. We're playing Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, that's who are we playing over Brian Thomas Jr.? Jamar Chase, Puka. I mean, if it was JSN or Brian Thomas Jr.
Jefferson.
Who?
Justin Jefferson.
Yep. Oh, well, yes, Justin Jefferson.
Devontae Adams if Rodgers is playing.
Oh, man, he let me down. He muffed that punt, Gibson. I needed 3 Devontae yards for a huge part. I almost broke a lamp. All right, we gotta wrap up here. We got a bunch of questions. All right, Shadows Wicked needs some help. CD ruled out. Yep. 2 running back, 2 wide receivers. So Marvin Harrison Jr., Quentin Johnson, Jalen McMillan, Thielen, White. Okay, let's just start with the wide receivers. What are we doing, Jason? I mean, McMillan's been great. Carolina, I think we got to start him, right?
I'm going McMillan and Thielen here.
I like that. Brian?
I'm going safe and upside. Thielen and Marvin Harrison.
So Marvin Harrison's safe?
He's upside.
Oh, I don't think he's either. McMillan's been great though. I think he had that Baltimore Kyle Hamilton stole one right from him, but
touchdown on Sunday. That was nasty.
Remember when Nick Westbrook-Ikine had a bunch of touchdowns in a row and everyone loved him, and then he dudded?
Okay, that's true. Okay, running back. So Rashad White, Tyjae Spears, Jerome Ford. So we need 2. I think. If Pollard's in, are we still playing Spears? Because we know if Pollard's out, we're playing Spears.
I think I like Spears even if he's in, just because he's going to be banged up, and he got work last week when he was banged up. And then I think I just like White because of the offense more.
Yeah,
I think I'm on White, Spears.
Carolina, but White's a guy you like to play when it's negative game script, right? Because they like to stock it and throw. But playing Carolina, they'll probably be up. But there should be enough meat on the bone. But okay, we got to keep going here though, because we still got. Actually, it's not that many. It's mostly just this one guy. Gus Edwards ruled out. I don't know if Pollard is too. Decide on Spears or Dobbins. I think we already answered that. Spears.
Yeah. We didn't answer this question specifically, but yeah, it's Spears for me.
I mean, I don't even know who I'd. Would you play Kamani Vidal or Dobbins, Brian?
I'd play the or. I would not play either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Jacoby, who got let down. That was frustrating. Jaden Reed or Wicks if Watson's out. Oh yeah, Watson. If Watson's out, how do we give the Packer wide receivers a nice bump?
A little bit, yeah, but it sounds like Watson's going to play.
Really? Jesus.
Yeah, they said his injury wasn't significant. It was just a bruise, so he has a pretty good chance of playing on Sunday.
Okay.
From what the reports were, I was in my injury report this week. For me, just kind of like Myers here. Just again, the Saints. It's just such a tasty matchup.
And we know they can't run it down their throat because they got bums.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, so are we everyone's Jacoby?
Yep.
Team Jacoby here.
If Watson's out,
guessing. I just hate guessing on the Packers wide receivers.
Has anyone gotten it right at any point this season? I'm like 0 for 100.
The only way you get it right is if you just start all 4.
That's not getting it right.
My can't even help me.
That's like betting red and black or roulette, and then it's 0-0. All right, Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp. Well, did this guy read my brain? I'm Keenan Allen. You have to. He's wide receiver 2 last week. Cooper Kupp's washed. I heard it here first. I know Brian's saying Cooper Kupp. Jason, be the voice of reason.
I'm Team Keenan here. He's been
dude
is a walking bucket when he's healthy. Right now he's healthy. And they're at home. The Bears' offense has been solid enough at home. I like Keenan here.
If only buckets mattered in football.
Well played. But what's the argument for Cup? Just what? Like, he had the triple
Target
crown?
share, they're projected to be a higher scoring team.
Okay.
Just-
Make an argument.
Longer week, and they're at home, so there's no weather issue.
Okay. No, weather should be fine tonight in Chicago, I checked, but, we've lost to that game before. All right, Standard League, Pollard or Swift? Oh, this is tough because we don't know about Pollard. But do we like Swift today, Standard League? Seattle Rundy was terrible, but it's gotten better. I don't know. I don't know what to do here.
Pollard played last week and he had lower rushing share than Spears when he played. I just think he's banged up. Even if he plays, he might not get his full workload. So I just think Swift is the guy.
Yeah.
But what if they're playing the Jags, though? Does that potential upside just mean, like, you kind of want to bank on that?
We had that potential upside 2 weeks ago, and that game was 10-6.
That's true. I think he had 3 rushes inside, though, with like 2, and didn't hit any of them home.
I couldn't believe it.
Do we like Swift tonight, though? Like, enough to bench Pollard? Like, Swift's like what? He's a man.
Yeah, but what if Pollard doesn't play and you have Pollard in your lineup? Then you're starting Ty Johnson, maybe.
Or J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, so I think Swift, you got to go with Swift here.
So bird in the hand? Okay, first time viewer. What up, my man? Or I hope my man. Yeah. All right, I'm losing my mind over these starts. Sits. Okay, hopefully you're still with 550. Yeah, you should still be with us. Okay, let's see what we got for you here. 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 2 flex. Brian, help me out with this. So we just got to pick some stuff.
We need 5 players total.
This is tough.
A receiver and 2 flex.
Okay. This
is
good options here.
Yeah.
Puka's a must start, right? A chain must start.
Yeah,
Puka and Devontae has been on one with Rodgers.
Yeah.
So I'm Puka. If Rodgers plays, I'm definitely Devontae. If Rodgers out, I'm definitely not Devontae. So pretty much Devontae's auto if he's in my opinion. Then I like JSN over the rest of the receivers.
Puka? What? Why do you hate my boy Puka?
No, Puka's definite. Devontae is a definite if Rodgers plays, and then JSN for me.
Okay, so then we need 2 running backs.
And then I'd go A-Chain and Cook.
Not Connor?
I don't know if Connor's going to play.
I think he practiced. I think he can play. Let's just assume everyone's playing.
All right.
Then I like the combo of A-Chain and Connor.
Okay, PPR. Let's see. Did you give us the info?
No, or actually, he might have.
Would that matter if it's PPR? We like it. Do we like Connor more because Cook is good, but they don't throw to him.
He had a receiving touchdown on Sunday.
Grendo, like the Lions rush D, does that nix him? But that's a potential high scoring game. Full PPR, he says.
Okay.
This is tough. This is a good team. This is a fun team, but man.
Yeah, this is a good problem to have.
I'm still A-Chain, Connor, Puka, Devontae, Jason.
So now you're Connor. Okay. I think, are we aligned there, Jason? I think I'm aligned there. So benching, what hurts there? Benching DJ Moore, but he's not quite in that tier. Benching London.
Running backs 1 and 2 for me are Achane and Cook. Receivers Puka, and at flex I'm going Connor and Devontae.
Connor and Devontae, so you're not playing JSN? I'm
not playing JSN.
Okay. My man, this is tough. If you, so I don't know. Brian, do you like the idea of JSN? You want to play JSN, but if you punt JSN, then at least you get more information for Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yeah.
But JSN 70 yards, like, what are we doing here? He's 6 catches, 70 yards, probably a touchdown every week. Bears, terrible defense. I agree. You got to play JSN.
If you're projected to win, I would go JSN because I just think he's safer.
Yeah.
If you're projected to lose, I would go with the 3 running backs, like Jason said, of A-Chain, Cook, and Connor.
Okay.
With Devontae and Puka.
Whew. Okay. And then, Grendo doesn't crack any of these. Like, he's pretty studly, or just because we don't know if he'll play. It's Monday. We don't want to wait. Let's not risk that biscuit.
He's not better than these guys.
Okay. But high scoring game. What's the total in that Niners-Lions game? It's got to be like 52. So projected to lose. Nico. Oh, you had Nico too? Oh my God, you must have been so stoked pregame. It's like Nico Ravens. Let's go.
Yeah, you may need to make a desperation play then.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like the touchdown upside of the running backs more.
Yeah, that's true. Running back touchdown upside. So Devontae Puka. This is what he has. H.N. Cook, a running back. DJ. So we're saying put JSN in over DJ Moore.
Or Connor.
Yeah.
Or Connor. Okay. So that's what we're saying. I like DJ Moore too, but I mean, it's man, JSN's a monster. Depends how big money. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is tough. There are no answers. There's only revisionist history after the fact. But that JSN matchup is about as juicy as it's going to get, and he's the number one. At least then you can get some answers too, right? Thursday. If he beats, right, you're even 50-50. You can make decisions. If he no-shows, and now you just need pure upside. Maybe you're even playing Tyreek and you need a 200-yarder, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Should I start Tyreek or Keenan Allen? I swear these people are trolling us. Jason, you're the Tyreek guy. We're a couple more minutes, guys. We're going to wrap up.
It depends on the upside again. Like if you're looking for what's safe, Keenan Allen. If you need upside, you got to go Tyreek.
I think what did Tyreek do versus the Niners? Not much, right?
Yeah, touchdown.
He scored. That's true.
He was 7 for 115 and a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
7 for 115? Really? I don't think so.
Not positive, but I feel like that's what his numbers were.
Okay. Well, if those were his numbers, start Tyreek.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wrap up here. We're running out of steam here. Pick 2, Jonathan JT Gibbs. Jesus. I don't know. Brian, are you benching Sharps? You got Jonathan Taylor and Gibbs. Nobody's benching Gibbs.
Yeah, you're not benching Gibbs. He's one. He's RB1. They proved that they didn't care about giving him a compliment. They just gave him the stuff. Gave him everything pretty much. And then I think I'm Taylor.
He just had 200 yards, right?
Yeah.
Benching Sharps, though, in the best matchup of the season. That's tough.
Yeah, I just think I'd rather lose with those two.
Okay, we got to wrap up here. Brian, Jason, final question. Bo Nix, Sam Darnold.
Ooh, tough call here. I like Bo. The Bengals defense just hasn't been good. They had a good week last week because they put the Browns and DTR, but for the most part, they've been shredded by pretty much everybody. Packer defense is actually legit. They've shown time and time again they're a whole new unit from what they used to be. So I like Bo here.
Yeah, I agree. Sam. No, don't worry, take it, Alex. We're gonna get your question. I just meant last. We're wrapping up. Pollard or Garendo? Jesus,
Garendo.
That's Garendo, but you got to wait, right? So,
you got to wait to see if Pollard's playing anyway too.
Yeah, that's true.
I like Ike. I'm Ike here. Team Ike.
Is he going to play though? What would you say? 70%?
Yeah,
50,
he's trending towards playing. It's probably well over 70% now. I'd say it's
okay, yeah, Garendo for sure. All right, JK. No, we got you. DK versus the Bears, must-win game. Devontae versus Dallas, no hurts, or CD, or Addison versus Packers, PPR. DK Bears, I think, right? I don't want a part of Devontae.
I think I'm Addison.
Yeah, I'm Team Addison here.
He's been great, but Packers do have. I think they're top 5 defense, but he might be.
His defense is good, but Addison will get his.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Packers have one stud corner in Jair. He's obviously going to be on Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Xavier McKinney has 9 interceptions.
Yeah, he's a safety.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so whatever. Same thing.
I'm saying he's not going to follow Addison. I think Jair's probably going to follow Jefferson. So Addison's proven he can step up, and that passing offense has been killing it.
That's true. Okay. Addison. Okay. Addison.
Well, let's go to Addison's last couple games here really quick just to make sure that I'm on.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he gets 8 to 9 targets a game to start out with.
Yeah, he's been good.
He's only had one game, 8 targets in the last 6.
He's convinced. When does he
I
get
have
the injury?
Addison over Brian Thomas Jr. and AJ Brown.
Wow, over Brian Thomas Jr. DK has been bad. Yeah, DK. Yeah, you're right. It's easy. Okay, last question. We're out. All right, DJ Moore, Sutton, Brees Hall, start 2. I don't know. Jason, take us home.
I'm gonna go Sutton and I'm gonna go Brees.
Sutton and Brees. Okay.
Brees.
Sutton and Brees. Man, my boy DJ getting no love, but matchup wise, it's pretty good. Okay, guys, that's it for Thursday show. Sunday, we'll be back for the final. Start sit. 10:30 a.m. But if we missed your question or you want some more answers, hit us up in the Discord. Probably should have said to go back to Twitter or YouTube again. But anyways, all right. Thanks, guys. We're doing one more show next week, post finals.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
All right.
I'll be doing the model.
Huh?
So I'm still doing the model.
All right. Yeah, we're still modeling. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you Sunday. Or some of us.